It's the big leagues, trying to max the ears if you can't hear me. The players that made it, they QB for second, they hop in the block with me. Hey, y'all better fear me, follow me like some fairy.
Welcome to the MGU podcast. I am Jay, also known as Jay Jingles, here with a very special guest, and we couldn't be happier to have him here. Moxieboosted, also, Marcus Perez, also known as Moxieboosted. So who's Moxieboosted? If you don't know Moxieboosted, I guess you don't watch a lot of YouTube and a lot of Pokemon content because he's kind of everywhere. But if you want to kind of do your own intro, I guess I can kind of let you do that.
Yeah, I mean, I typically, like, I don't know. I used to have like an old intro where I'd be like, "Hey guys, what's up? What's up?" And then like now it's just reached a point where like, "Hey, welcome back to the channel." But
Welcome
I'm not
back
on
to
my
the channel.
Yeah, but I'm not on my channel, so I'm just gonna say hi. You know.
Welcome back to this channel. Yeah, it still works. It still works. Should we redo it? No, I'm kidding. No, we won't redo it. No, so Marcos, a lot of people know him as Moxie, but he's a person. He's not just a guy that you watch. You know, he has a name. But yeah, he's got experience in his VGC history and stuff like that with Dallas Regionals. He did pretty well. PC2, he did pretty well. PC3. I might want to ask you about that as well, because they said that the how you did in it looked like you made kind of the same result, but they called it upper round 4 instead of top 64. I don't know why they changed it, but I don't know. But you did about the same, I saw, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, his YouTube channel, VGC scene, and he also spends a lot of time on other people's channels, such as this one, so that's really cool. And yeah, we appreciate you coming here today. And yeah, I don't want to keep you long because you're a busy guy. I'm just going to go through some questions just about your VGC history and kind of things people might want to hear of, like behind-the-scenes stuff. And also, because this is a Draft League channel, I wanted to ask you with your experience with the WBE and also the XDL as well, and maybe the similarities and differences between the two. Yeah, and just, you know, just some fun things. We're just going to chat a bit. So first off, I think, how did you get started, first of all? Like, I know you've been a content creator for a while now, I think 5 or 6 years. Is that right?
Yeah, about that much.
How does one start a YouTube channel, and when did you decide to kind of, I don't know, what do you say, go for it? But when was it just like, let's try this, and when was it, man, I actually got something here?
Okay, so it was August 2015. I actually remember the day exactly. I literally went to like the state fair, or like the county fair or something with my family, and then I went home and I was playing Oris, and I went, you know, I want to make videos about Pokemon, because like I had played Pokemon when I was younger, and then I didn't play it for like 3 or 4 generations, because I played Gen 3. And then I got back into it in Gen 6 with like Omega Ruby. So it was literally the same game, but a remake. And I enjoyed it. There was a lot more community to the game than there was when I was younger, because I was 4. And when Ruby was a thing, and I was able to do like online stuff, and I saw there was competitive battling. And I got into competitive Pokemon literally just because an old thing I used to do was stay up really late on my phone when I should have been sleeping, and look up world championships for obscure things. And one day I go, hey, Beyblade World Championships. And I go, it exists. And then I go, what about Pokemon? I go, oh, this is cool.
So you flipped a coin, and you were just like, well, I guess it's Pokemon.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't even follow Beyblade when I was younger. I just like knew about it. And I thought it was funny that there was a legit world champion for it. And then I was actually interested in Pokemon. I was like, that, you know, it's a game that, you know, you can actually probably get competitive with. And then I found out competitive Pokemon was an actual thing, and followed a bunch of people, got into Verlicify, obviously, as everyone made a mistake initially.
Yeah, we're gonna stay away from that topic in this channel, because we don't want to have divided groups in here. But yeah, carry on.
Doubt it would be that divided, but yeah, no. I just thought it was a cool thing, and then eventually I make a YouTube channel and don't know a single thing about competitive, did it in the wrong order. I made a YouTube channel and then learned about competitive, and a lot of my early stuff is just me fumbling and like all of my teams. I actually, like, my first couple of videos were like, actually no, I think my first video was VGC, and I like only used like spin to teams for a little bit, and like all those videos are down now because
that was my next question. I was gonna be like, can one go and watch these said videos?
You can definitely find older videos. A lot of them are pretty cringe, but that's just how it is when you.
Well, that's why I want to watch them.
Yeah, like because I was like 16 at the time, right?
I may post it to the next video of this channel. Be like, yo, check out check out Moxieboosted's old channel.
Moxieboosted, yeah.
J reacts.
But I eventually found VGC and found my local scene, and I played in like a couple of small events, but I didn't really know what I was doing. And I think I actually got into my stride with VGC in like 2017. Managed to top cut my first like actual event where I like had a real team that I actually like made AVs for. And it was like a really interesting team. It was like Galysopod, Talonflame, Garchomp, Tapu Lele, Kartana, and some other stuff I don't remember. But it was a really fun team, and
That's pretty dope, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. And you know how like I talked about earlier, how it's like, hey, everyone who plays this game or makes content is just a person. You know?
Yeah.
And like if they think that, I don't think the audience heard this because this is like in the pre-interview part. I was like, they're just a person, and if they think they're anything else, they're very full of themselves. I had only watched a couple of regional championship videos at that point, and one of them was Diana Bros winning the Madison Regional in 2016. And immediately as I arrive to the MSS that I compete at in 2017, I see Diana Bros and I go, oh my god, it's Diana Bros.
Oh my god.
And then I was like, hey guys, and I like say hi to a bunch of people, and I'm like, I know these guys from the Twitter app. And
it was called the Twitter.
Everyone to me was a celebrity from the Bird app.
Yeah.
And they weren't. They were just friends
people,
at the end of the day. And I got close with the community, and like that's pretty much it. Like over the years I got better at the game, so a lot of my channel you can like watch me get better.
Yeah.
Where I think that's an interesting thing that I have that a lot of other content creators don't, because they were probably good before they made the channel.
Yeah.
But you can like progressively watch me get better at the game, and it's kind of funny.
So, which encourages you to watch every single Moxieboosted video on the history of the channel. Go and do it, and hit like and subscribe on his channel, and comment 50 times.
The bad ones, you learn more from those, unironically.
Oh yeah, yeah. Honestly, when I'm on break or something like that at work, I might actually go check out a couple of videos just to see if I can find anything interesting. But no, that's really cool, man. Like I noticed, I have here you were at the Dallas Regionals as well. But was that before or after your first cut?
That was well after. I didn't have a car when. For like, what is it? As soon as I went to college, I like sold my car, right? Because I didn't need it. I was walking everywhere on college, and it was just an expense that I didn't really want to have to deal with. So I sold it immediately so I could like pay for a couple of, for a little bit of tuition. And my sister also went to the same college as me, so it was like, hey, if I need to go home, I'll just hitch a ride with my sister. And because of that, in order for me to play in official events from like 2018 all the way up until last year when I finally bought a car again.
Nice.
I would have to do this whole like organized like procedure where I was like, okay, I'm going to buy a train ticket for 5 a.m. to show up in Chicago. I need John to pick me up from the train station at this time. We're going to be 5 minutes late from sign up, but they're still going to let us in. And then I'm going to be able to play in the tournament. And then after the tournament, if I cut, I'll stay and spend the night at someone's house. And if I don't cut, I leave early and I catch the next train home. And then I'll be back on I'll be back on campus before like 5 p.m. And it was like this whole thing. And now it's like, I'll just drive to the tournament. So
those are the best stories though.
Yeah, so because of that, I didn't attend too many in-person events from 2018 through 2020. And now that I have the means to, there are no tournaments, and that's kind of funny.
Yeah. Well, funny yet depressing.
Yeah, but, they're coming back, and I can pretty much attend all of them, so.
No, that's cool, though. That was actually a pretty good segue into one of my other questions. I was going to ask you, like you played in Players' Cup as well and things like that, but and you've done pretty well in them, like what is it? Top 64 isn't too bad, right?
It's not terrible.
Yeah, it's pretty good. But no, like so like obviously the difference between live and online is you don't get to sit across from somebody. But like walk me through like what does like a regional look like when you actually go there for the people that actually haven't been to a tournament rather than just logging on, click go, and just battle, right?
Yeah, so a regional, I would say, I personally, even though I'm like a competitive player and I generally would like to top cut a regional at some point. I think I have the potential to. If I like put all my time and effort into it, but it's kind of hard to split between school and the fact that I do this mostly for content.
Well, you have a life too, right? Like it's
Yeah,
it's kind of hard to
So when I enter a regional, it's mainly for the community aspect of it. I get to see a lot of friends that I haven't seen in a lot of months. I get to meet fans of the channel. I've taken a few pictures, and it's kind of weird to do.
You're a celebrity, dude.
Technically, I'm a niche internet micro celebrity, and that's funny. So I take pictures of people and I play the game, and some people be like, "Hey, I know you from the YouTube," and I'm like, "Hey, that's cool." And you just hang out with a bunch of people with common interests, and when you walk into the venue, it's kind of intimidating because it is huge. There are a ton of people and a lot of tables, and you don't know where to go. But as soon as you pass check-in, as soon as you like finish checking in your system, doing everything, going through like hack check for if you're going to like Top Cut or anything really, then it's just relaxed. You hang out, you hear about people's war stories of like the previous matches they had, or how they like missed a muddy water like 5 turns in a row.
Yeah, or double snarl miss or something, or
yeah, like you get to hear all those like horror stories, and you just generally have a good time. And when you're done, you just go back to the hotel room, probably play like Smash Bros with your friends.
A different game.
Yeah, you literally play a different game. And you get dinner and stuff. It's literally just like you can treat it like a convention.
It sounds fun. Like it actually sounds like a weekend or whatever. You don't just go there for one day and you're just like, all right, I played and I'm going home. No, you make a thing out of it, right? So
yeah, and also typically there's side events. So like there's the main regional, and then like there would be a PC the next day, followed immediately by an MSS, while Top Cut happens parallel to both of those. So people who didn't Top Cut can participate in these other events.
Which is pretty cool, actually. Like, you get eliminated, you're upset, whatever it is. So at least you get to keep playing and stuff like that. So that's kind of good on them to do that. I kind of like that, actually.
Points by the end of the weekend.
Yeah, and like the points and stuff like that. I've seen the points and regional points and official VGC points and stuff. I know nothing about it. It's a world I know nothing about. So like, I imagine you just go. The more tournaments you go to. So what does it mean? Like, once you get a certain amount of points, what does that mean for you?
Once I don't know what the points bar is this season. I think they raised it because of how many points people have carried over from 2020.
Yeah.
But if you're top something or whatever, like top 8 in your region, I think, you get a travel stipend.
Hey, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, keep in mind, I don't need to know this because I'm never top 8 in my region.
Not yet.
And if you reach a certain bar of points, like let's say 500 or 300 or something like that, then you get a Worlds invite where you get a little email and it says, hey, you can register for the World Championships. We're not going to give you anything beyond that, but you can register.
Yeah, one day, dude. It's coming.
Yeah, someone told me they thought that you get like a free flight out, and I'm like, no, there are so many people competing in Worlds. If they did that, they'd go broke. Actually, they probably wouldn't. They have tons of money, but they definitely don't want to spend all that money. But yeah, no, it's literally just you play for points, you play for fun, you might end up at Worlds. That's pretty much it. You don't have to qualify for any other tournament outside of Worlds, I believe.
You just show up.
Yeah, like I believe internationals you can just show up to.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. So I actually didn't have this written down for a question, which is great because it's a great question because of that. But because you went to Dallas Regionals, like what kind of people like would our viewers kind of know that you'd run into there in that area? Like, are the same that you would see at that tournament, like friends of yours or content creators? Like who would show up to that?
I actually, it's kind of unfortunate. I haven't had the pleasure of meeting content creator friends at tournaments yet. Like I like back in the day when I was smaller, like 500 subs, I met up with like iPurple VGC and Big Slim, and those people when before Slim was even a streamer, really. Like I met him beforehand, but those are people who I coordinated with. But people who I met through YouTube, like Mercury, Joe UX9, That's a Plus One, James Bake, other people, I haven't had the pleasure of meeting them. I've met Wolfie, and I haven't met Aaron, actually. Yeah, no, I think the only content creator I've met is Wolfie, and he didn't know who I was because it was like early 2018. So like I was like very small in the community still.
Yeah.
So yeah, like that's like the only guy I've actually met through this, so kind of unfortunate. Like, I just happen to live in a region where a lot of other content creators aren't really present. Like, it seems like the Midwest is just bankrupt of content creators, while like the East Coast has all of them and the West Coast has a couple.
No, represent, man. Like, why not? Right?
Yeah.
No, I could have sworn I thought like other guys were from. You're from Texas, right?
No, I'm from Chicago.
Chicago. Okay. I'm completely the opposite side of the country, but
Yeah. Same
no,
time
that's
zone.
cool. Yeah. Well, I'm actually from Toronto area in Canada, so I don't know if you've noticed just from chatting, but yeah.
Not quite. No, I can't tell.
Hey, so I'm gonna use that because a lot of people I talk to from the U.S. in our league, they're just like, "Hey, and a boot this." I'm like, "Shut your mouth." But
I haven't
anyway,
heard you say a boot yet.
I say about, and
I can
apparently,
kinda hear it. There's a little bit of a twang on the tail end.
yeah, you guys say about, like you like fully.
Yeah.
We're just lazy. We just I don't want to open my mouth all the way. But yeah. So you know what's funny? Like you might not know this because like I don't know how involved you are in communities other than like your own Discord and doing your own things and just a couple of close friends. But like I hear people reference the WBE very much, especially around the draft league scene and other leagues and stuff like that. We're plugged into quite a few of them now. But
Oh yeah, the WB is the gold standard for draft leagues.
yeah, and I think everybody just really enjoyed it. I'm not sure, has anything really been done like that on the VGC side, or was that kind of the first one? I know the WBE was singles for a while, but was that the first VGC?
WBE VGC was the first time Dan decided to expand to VGC, and he reached out to VGC content creators. He like put out a mass tweet, and just anyone who seemed like they had like a decent understanding of the game, or a decent following. Since there's a pretty, how do I say it? It's very rare for someone with like 100 subs to get into WBE, right? Because it's mainly like a content forward sort of league, right? It's not like entirely based off of, oh, this is like the best VGC player ever.
Exactly, yeah.
This is a good content creator who also plays VGC, right? Which is why I got in. Because if it was like the best VGC players, I wouldn't be on that list.
No, that's what I figured as much. I noticed that when it started, you know, like when you're just kind of like driving around, and you see a billboard, and you're like, wow, that's a really, really good ad, or like just a way of promoting something or marketing something. When I saw the WBE, I went, what a great idea. Like, you know, you get all these different content creators together, big, small, middle, whatever it might be. You got bigger channels like A Drive and stuff like that, and Cybertron, Wolfie, and then you got smaller channels like I don't know, some of the other smaller ones. Like I'm not sure the smaller ones, like maybe like K-Cray or something was on the smaller end. But no, and then everyone just kind of like promotes each other on each other's channels, and then everyone grows together. I thought it was just brilliant from a pure marketing standpoint. So actually a question I have for you is, did you notice any increase or like some sort of, I guess, raid join from the WBE or the XDL? Like, did you notice any sort of like entrance of like fans or subs or anything like that after?
More so on the WB and then the XDL. And I think that might be because I was one of the larger guys in XDL, and it's not like an even distribution of people going to your channel across the board. I think if you're like one of the bigger creators in a league, obviously you're going to get less sub growth from it, just because more people are probably already subbed to you.
Exactly,
right?
Yeah.
But with WBE, I definitely got a decent spike of subs. However, I made it very clear with WBE, like when people started showing, I'm like, look, guys, I'm not a draft focused channel. I just am doing draft right now.
Yeah.
So if you're into VGC, stick around. But if not, then it's, you know, whatever. But that's actually really interesting that you brought up like the growth aspect of it and the marketing of it, because I will say something. When I was pretty small on YouTube, like 30, 40 subscribers, right? I did actually play in a couple of singles leagues, a couple of them. And then I didn't really do draft anymore because I didn't like draft that much. It was until someone said like, hey, do VGC draft, that I was like, okay, I'll do it again. And of course that was like 6 years later. But it was interesting because there's something that I noticed on the smaller end of draft exclusive channels. And it's sort of like a harsh reality that I noticed, and that's why I sort of stopped doing the content. And that was with larger draft channels, it works perfectly. It's, you know, if you're good at the game, if you're very good at draft, and you're in a draft league with a bunch of other big content creators, everyone's going to experience a significant amount of growth. And, you know, beyond the fact that you just enjoy playing the game, because honestly, I just make content because I like playing the game.
Yeah.
A big incentive of doing draft content is that like group marketing, right? However, on like smaller draft things, like where people are 200 and below, 500 and below even, where like the biggest guy you got is like 500.
Yeah.
It ends up being kind of weird in that it sort of becomes like a sub for sub situation, if that makes sense. If you remember old YouTube lingo, because what'll happen is but people like looking for draft league content who aren't themselves in draft leagues will typically only really watch bigger things, like bigger draft leagues, where the people who are watching the super duper small draft leagues are the participants themselves. So you end up getting like this weird artificial growth on the smaller end of draft leagues, where the only people subbing to you are like the other dudes in your draft. And that's something I noticed, and I noticed it like immediately. I was like, wait a minute, I'm getting a lot of subs. Oh wait, but they're all like just friends that I have, which I was fine with at the moment, because I was like, hey, these guys are cool.
Why were you not subbed before? Is my question.
Well, is because I met them through the draft. You know, they met me through the draft. Shout out to Adam the Bee's Knees and the UBC and all those guys who, you know, I just helped me out with like draft league in the early days. Like that was really cool of you guys.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like that was just something I noticed, and I don't know, it's just funny.
Yeah, like, and that was actually the most curious about that when it came to growth, because that was like, we can say, you know, like, hey, you know, for the fans, they would love it, which they did, which is kind of a win-win scenario. But the growth, I think, was really probably the driving force to the idea, which I thought was really good. So I was kind of curious to kind of see. So there's not a lot of draft league content when it comes to like larger, like especially larger YouTubers and content creators. You don't see a lot of draft league from larger YouTubers because it's a very niche kind of style, right? So like, but VGC is just so vast, right? So you can kind of stick to that.
VGC draft itself is like an even deeper version of niche. Like it's niche within niche.
Yeah, the singles market's a little larger. So but yeah, you know what's funny? I didn't even know what draft league was until, because I'm a big sports guy, so I did a lot of fantasy draft, like baseball, hockey, things like that, and I thought it was great, but I didn't have the time, like especially with baseball's brutal. If you're a baseball guy, like, man, like there's games every day, you got to change your lineup every single day, and it just, I couldn't keep up with it, injuries, all that stuff, so I just kept away from it. But when I saw you guys in the WBE, I was like, wait, this is real. this exists. And you know, I switched over to doubles obviously when Sword and Shield came out, like a lot of people did, and just kind of like you content creators kind of paved the way for everybody to kind of get into it, and you made it very, very easy. So I guess I say thank you for everybody, because everyone I talk to that's in draft league, they're like, yeah, I've only been playing for about a year.
Yeah,
everybody always said the same thing. So, and you guys did such a good job with the WBE and stuff. And it's funny, I actually went and did a bit of research on, you know, you and like the draft league history and stuff. And I was just like, I've already watched these videos. I already hit like, I already subscribed, and the video was already played when I clicked it. So I was like, oh yeah. So no, but like I watched a lot of people's, like I stuck to yours a bit too, because you had really interesting teams. Obviously Wolfie is just a character. I'm trying to think who else I watched as well. There was another guy that, you know, who I did follow every single match of was Manby. Not many people know about Manby. I know you did a collab with him on like underused Pokemon and stuff, which was a really nice series.
Series. Unfortunately, it's kind of dead because the ladder's dead.
Yeah, everybody went to BDSP now, and you know, and that's just the flavor of the month right now. And the next month it'll be Arceus and stuff like that, which is kind of cool. Like, it's new content, but which actually I have a question as well. Like, man, I'm not getting to any of the questions I planned, but I guess that's better. What effect do you think like BDSP like has had on like the VGC like scene? Like, are people playing BDSP more because they're like, man, I want to use like, I don't know, like Primeape, I want to use my favorites that aren't in Sword and Shield for some stupid reason? And is this going to tide us over to the new game coming out, especially with Arceus coming out? Is this enough to get us to Gen 9, or you think they have more in store for us? Like, they're going to do an update? Like, what's your take on that?
I'm a pretty pessimistic guy when it comes to the updating the game. I will say this. This is like this is uncharted water as far as like VGC formats go. because basically we've never had the situation before where we have a game, we get bored of the game enough to switch over to the non-VGC game
Yeah.
and stay there for an extended period of time, because it almost happened with Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, but we still had like an official VGC format going at the time with tournaments, and Ultra Series was a thing and people were having fun with that still. And because of that, VGC on Let's Go Eevee just kind of died like immediately, right?
Yeah.
Where with BDSP, it came at a time where we're doing a repeat of an old format that no one really liked in the first place, right on the heels of one of the best formats anyone's ever played, as far as I've heard from a lot of people. Series 10 was like peak VGC for a lot of people. But it's like those factors, and the fact that like a new game came out where you can technically play VGC, but it's not official, has sort of led the community down a path where it's like there are some people who are like still grinding out games in preparation for maybe when the tournaments come back around in May or in March that they're gonna be Series 11, but they're probably not. And then we have some people who are like, there's no way of knowing what's gonna be Series I guess it's Series 12 technically. We have no way of knowing what Series 12 is going to be. So let's just have fun with this grassroots format. And I think a majority of the community is literally just playing grassroots BDSP right now. And I think we're better off for it. We're having a lot of fun. We're not stressed about results really. It's just been a good time. Personally, I think that they're not going to update Sword and Shield, and the best thing that they could do to revive Sword and Shield VGC, for official formats. Not only the official formats happening itself will revive the game, or the official tournaments happening will revive the game itself. But I think the format would have to be non-Dynamax at this point. I think they would have to do Series 7 non-Dynamax, or at the very least another Series 10. Series 7 non-Dynamax would obviously be a lot more hype than Series 10 again, since we already played Series 10. But yeah, like it would have to be something that we haven't done before. They might do double restricted, but I think so many people have been like so into BDSP VGC that having a non-Dynamax format is just so huge to the enjoyment of the game at this point. A lot of people really didn't like that mechanic.
Yeah, I was going to ask you what you thought of Dynamax as well, but from that sentence, I can already tell you're waiting for it to end. But like, I actually think you're right. Like, I think a good, I'm going to say segue into the next series format would probably be the same format is the same thing everybody's playing, but just with a different, no restricted, like you already did already. And they're starting to like repeat the formats now, right? Like what Series 7 and 9 were the same, you're doing Series 11's a repeat. So it's just like I think Series 11's 8, right?
Yeah, it feels like they're stalling, in my opinion.
Yeah, like waiting for these
really
games.
hard to get to the point where it's like, okay, official tournament's happening, new format. I think they're just stalling at that point.
Yeah, and I'd like to think they have a plan. It doesn't seem like they do, but like there's the largest company like when it comes to like brand, like game brand in the world now. I think they surpassed Mario recently, but but they also have like it's called merchandise and cards and stuff like that, so they kind of got an unfair advantage. But just because we're kind of like short on a little bit of time now, I do want to get in a bit of a draft league because a lot of people here are into draft league as well. So we talked about WBE, a little bit of X9. Is it X9 or XDL? I've heard it both.
It's X9 Draft League, but you can't say X9DL without saying the same number of syllables as X9 Draft League. So we just say XDL because it technically shortens it.
Fair. That explains that. I noticed. So your first draft league. Let me just pull it up here. Your first WBE. So I know. Okay, I'm gonna say that your record was 3-7. But first of all, you were playing against some of the best players in the world. Obviously you had...
I'm going to be honest. Here's what happens whenever I play Draft League. The first couple of weeks, I'm having fun. Actually, the first 2 weeks. The first 2 weeks I have fun, and I like prep, and I have a front office, and I keep constant contact with the front office and work on stuff for 2 to 3 weeks. But I'm a team builder at heart. I can't be restricted to the same pool of Pokemon. I get bored very quick and I go, I don't really care anymore. I don't want to keep using these Pokemon. So being restricted to having to build hyper specific teams to counter team my opponents I don't find it terribly fun after the first week or two. So what ends up happening is I'm too shy to drop the league because I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
It feels like a dick move.
Fair.
So I just stop really caring, and I do last second preps for every single match. I think past week 3 of WBE, maybe even week 3 and beyond, I would say. I'm ashamed to say it, but I literally just prepped the 20 minutes before the match every single time.
Yeah, I think there were a couple videos that you were saying, like, honestly, my front office made this team. I'm just seeing it now. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, oh, shoot, that's got to move. Oh, it doesn't have Trick Room. That sucks. Like, you've already led it and stuff like that.
That's literally how every single draft league I do has been. Like, I'm excited for the first couple of weeks. And I'm like, yeah, draft league, this will be fun. And then I'm like, okay, it's not fun anymore. And at this point, every time I get invited to a draft league after XDL, I'm just like, listen.
This is how it's going to go.
It sounds exciting right now, and I would like to join it right now, but I'm going to say no because I know I'm not going to be having fun after a week or two.
Which is a good answer because, like me running a league myself, like I'd rather have a guy tell me, look, exactly that. It's just like, look, I'm not going to commit to 8 to 10 weeks. And my league's actually 8 weeks because I look at 10, I'm like, man, that's 2 whole months plus playoffs and, bye weeks. And it's a long time to commit, right? So like if you don't have the time, I actually respect the fact that you wouldn't play rather than just, hey, yeah, that's fun. And then you're just like, yeah, somebody take my team, right?
And
but
honestly, if A Drive like messaged me and he's like, hey, WBE VGC season 2, I might actually say no despite the sub growth because I know that I wouldn't perform well after a week or two.
Okay. Here's what we're gonna do. You're gonna say yes, and then I'm gonna log in as Moxieboosted, and I'll just play.
Someone else play my matches for me, yeah.
And then at the end, it's just like, well, I finished 0-8, and we gotta come clean, dude. we can't have people thinking you're 0-8, so or 0-10 or whatever it is. But no, that's that. I know you're really busy too. I know you're in school and stuff like that, and you got a really busy life. I know you mentioned it a couple times in your content that you were really busy during the times you're like, yeah, I literally just moved, or I had no time this week. I was on a trip or something. So, and that's another thing too I wanted to ask you about, like the time involved in playing Draft League. Like what kind of time was involved for you playing, like when you were actually prepping like really hard the first couple weeks? Like did you, like I've seen such a wide variety of prep styles and how people do it, where they start, things like that, and how much time. What is an acceptable amount of prep time that you would say putting in enough effort to actually play and win and compete?
I think the most time I've ever put into a single team is like a 2-hour call, to be honest. Like I know some people go much harder than that.
Oh yeah.
I think I've only done the 2-hour call once. Beyond that, I think it's always been like 45-minute calls with maybe one of my front office will have a practice game or two with me.
Yeah. Like I've seen guys do, man, like hours and hours and hours. Like I'm kind of in the honeymoon stage. Like I'm still enjoying every second when I do play. Like unfortunately, I'm a little busy kind of running it this season, so I can't play. But I do enjoy it. But like I feel like when you catch a buddy and stuff like that, he's running a team. You kind of help each other and you just kind of chat. And I'm obviously not streaming and not a content creator with 22,000 followers either. So that's another thing. I'm not in school, so I had a little bit more time, but yeah, I think that's really what it comes down to. I usually see like a little bit of a curve with success in the leagues that I play in, run, or just kind of see, and you kind of see the prep time and stuff, and I think it's just in the end it takes a lot of time. Like if you want to do well, like I bet Aaron Zhang did, like he's a really good player obviously, but him finishing 9-1, in that season, I bet he put in a fair bit of time, or actually, is he just that good? I don't know.
No, he's literally just that good. Aaron's a goat. Like Aaron and Wolfie, they could prep for 5 minutes and still come out on top for a lot of draft league matches. Because here's the thing: when you get VGC fundamentals down, it literally doesn't matter as long as you're interested in winning, right? Like you can prep so bad for a VGC match if it's like a draft league game, and even if you prep awful, if you have your fundamentals down and you make correct plays, it literally doesn't matter. Not only was I not prepping, but I was just not interested in winning.
Yeah, the combination of the two just leads to 3-7, and I think the other one was 3-6.
I won't lie. I'm not as good as Wolfie or Aaron. I would argue I'm not even as good as A Drive, and A Drive just started a couple of like a year ago. He's pretty good. He has his fundamentals down. But yeah, no, like I think that some people are just really good at the game and they don't need to prep as much. I am a person who would need to prep a lot if they want to do go in a draft league.
I think that's how I overcompensate too. I'm not that great, but if I prep and I'm ready and stuff like that, at least I'm not really. Sometimes guys are just like, what? It gets Thunderbolt? I didn't know that. And you just get O-code by a 4-time super effective move. And you're like,
yeah.
Yeah, like, I was going to actually ask you about, like, I know you were in the XDL as well, and you're one of the bigger YouTubers there. So, like, is there someone that you would want to plug that people might not know about that's just like a solid player that, that's really, really good at VGC?
Draft or just VGC in general?
Just VGC in general that might have played in the draft league, so they can kind of check out their content. But like, I was thinking Manby first of all. But is there somebody else, or specifically him, you wanted to like just kind of plug as a really good player people might not know about?
For sure, Bryce Manby. But I think 2 other people that I definitely need to plug that need more subs are my buddy Mercury, phenomenal content creator, and sorry Mercury, but I would highly recommend that people watch the main event on YouTube. He makes amazing content. He puts in so much work making this content. He like grinds day in and day out, and I think he deserves a lot more recognition for what he does. Like, he's a good player too. Like, he can outplay a lot of people. So yeah, no, main event, then Mercury, then Bryce. And I think the only reason I'm putting Mercury and Bryce behind main event is because main has the least amount of subs out of all of them, and he deserves a ton.
Yeah, let's show some love. I'll throw those links in the description down below so you guys can kind of check it out. But no, like, I think there are so many unknowns, right? Just because, like, whether or not it's unable to get subscribers or just unable to promote, or so I figured I'd ask, right? Manby is one of them, right? Like, I kind of jumped on his channel maybe about a year ago actually, and I ran into a couple of teams that were really, really good. He had this Orin Guru and Volcarona team. And it was just amazing. Like, he would double struggle bug against PZ teams and stuff like that. Like, it was just ridiculous. And he also had this Halloween team as well. He had like this Gourgeist strat where he would trick or treat his PZ or trick or treat his Hydreigon. So now it's immune to one of its weaknesses, and not to mention add super effective damage and adaptability boosted ghosts. It was just too big brain for me to even comprehend. So I thought that was really cool, and that really got me into his channel. And yeah, he's one of the better players, and it was really cool to kind of see you two kind of pair up. So how did that relationship kind of start as we kind of come to a close here? We didn't get into a whole lot of draft league stuff, but like, I warned you, dude, before we started this. I talk way too long about stuff, and yeah. So, but like, you know what? It's going pretty good so far with what we've been talking about, so we won't force it. But yeah, just answer that for me. So how did that connection kind of start with the X9 or the XDL? Like, how did you guys kind of kick that off?
So Bryce and I both competed in XDL, and we've known of each other's channels because I make it a point to know as many VGC YouTubers as I can, specifically because the only way this game is going to grow is if we get a good content creator presence. So I try to plug as many people as I can and collab with them. So I had known of him before, and then we both got invited to XDL. And then after the fact, Bryce just reaches out to me and he goes, hey, do you want to do some kind of collab series? And I go, yeah. And then we kind of collectively think of this idea where we trade a low tier Pokemon and use it on each other's channels. And then because rentals exist in Sword and Shield but not in BDSP, we can't really do it anymore. But on Sword and Shield, we would have the viewers vote on which one they wanted us to make a public team and which one would get thrown into, the garbage and never be seen again. As in like, lips tight, key thrown out the door, never seeing that team again. So there was like stakes to it. And that was just like a fun series that did really well on both of our channels. So yeah, like that's I definitely want that series to come back once official events come back and people are playing Sword and Shield. But yeah, no, Bryce is a really cool guy, really easy to collab with, very chill. Like I like his content, He's less focused on Pokemon right now because official tournaments aren't a thing.
Yeah.
And people aren't really interested in Series 10. So I know he's been streaming like Legend of Zelda and stuff, but yeah, no, just generally cool guy.
Yeah, I think everybody should kind of check out their channel as well because, well, not their channel, they have two. But especially with Draft League specifically, like that, one of the good things about that series is underused Pokemon and like just less used and usually forgotten about Pokemon and underrated Pokemon, I guess in the end, you'd probably come to a conclusion of, is those are steals in a draft league. Like when you're looking like tier 3, tier 4, or D or C tier, whatever you want to call it. Those are steals, right? And you guys are kind of showing guys, hey, like this might have been overlooked in your draft prep before, but this thing is actually a monster. You know, it gets this and this. You can use it 100 different ways, and all it needs is this support, and it can do really, really well. So I think those are great channels. Like I think what's his name? The guy that took over in the XDL, he ended up winning. What's his name? Jamie Boyd.
Yeah, Jamie Boyd.
He did a series called Fun Conventional, and that was
unconventional or
unconventional. Exactly, and that was a cool series as well, just because like the underused Pokemon is like, by the way, have you thought about Berserker? Or by the way, have you thought about Salazzle? And just little things like that, and I thought that was really helpful as well. So I would definitely encourage everybody listening to go check out those videos specifically, and not to mention those two guys, like Moxie here, obviously, and Manby as well. Like they're just really, really good. And like I watched Moxie's stream before we did this interview. The guy went undefeated. Like he 4v6 the guy.
Oh yeah, the OU player.
Yeah, well the guy obviously went in with like Fortress and stuff like that, but you took out 6 Pokemon with 4, and I think you had 2 or 3 left over in the end.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The whole like thesis of my channel is sort of similar to Jamie Boyd's. Like I'm known as the I'm gonna make this work guy.
Yeah.
Like Pokemon that I've sort of like pioneered, and that sounds like a weird word to say for Pokemon, but you can pioneer a Pokemon. I was the Thievul guy, if that makes sense. Like you might not see Thievul a lot, but when you see it, they've watched me. You know, it's literally like I'm the guy who used it first. And made it popular among Thievul enthusiasts. Like I managed to do well with it. That's how I qualified for Players Cup one of the times. I made Appleton work for Players Cup 3. I used Galisopod to qualify for Players Cup 3, in fact. I'm just someone who likes to dig into low tiers and try to find a niche for them. But I have to support them with like generally good Pokemon for the team to work consistently. So my goal usually is just like get a Pokemon to work, but make sure the team's consistent.
Well, yeah, and that definitely shows you can prove that with your drafts and stuff like that. Like you drafted Galisopod, you drafted Thievul, dropped it for Morgrim, of course, but obviously the team wasn't complete. So Thievul
had to go.
Yeah. Togepi, Drampa, Berserker, Pokemon that you're not going to see on everyday teams. So like especially if you make your opponent look up what Pokemon you could use and what does this thing do, you've done your job. I think.
Yeah, they have to do more prep than you do then.
Yeah, and that's sometimes what it comes down to is who does more prep. But as for prepping for this interview, there was so much stuff I didn't get to, but I should actually show you exactly what I wanted to ask you, and you'll see what we actually went over, and you're just going to laugh. So, but I think this is actually a good spot to end off here. And, man, I actually can't thank you enough for taking time, you know. I was actually a little surprised when you said yes. I was just like, I wouldn't have said yes if I were you.
No problem. Like literally, I would say yes to most every invite if it weren't for how busy I was. And you happened to catch me at the one time a year where I'm not busy, which is my winter break.
Hey, it's fate. So hopefully I catch you the next time you're not too busy and I can have you on again, and maybe we can finish this interview properly. But yeah, it's just for respecting time and things like that. So I just want to say thank you. Everybody listening, thanks you as well. I'm definitely going to plug you in the description below, your YouTube, Twitch, Discord, Twitter, Instagram. Poke Amino, haven't heard of that one before, but I'm definitely going to plug that one down there too. Go check out Moxie if you haven't seen him yet. Like I said, his live streams, he just goes off, right? So, what was your record today?
I went 7-0, I believe.
7-0. That's why I don't stream, because I'd probably go 0-7. But anyway, and by the way, screen watchers too. I called them out on that stuff. Just like, hey, can I battle you? Or that's me. And it's just like, yeah, you're watching the screen, aren't you?
I usually trust my viewers with that, but yeah, no, like sometimes I get a couple of screen snipers, but it hasn't been too much of an issue.
Well, if they were today, they didn't do it right because they all lost. But so let's end it off there. Again, thank you, and everybody check out Moxie. Check out the guys that were plugged earlier today. I'll have them down in the description, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.
It's the big leagues, Dynamax the ears if you can't hear me. The players that made it, they can't be forsaken. They hop in the